You have issues with flooding? Or spilling all the time? I know I do. And this is control water. Fourth level transmutation, casting time of 1 action, range of 300 feet, components verbal, somatic.
Material.
A drop of water and a pinch of dust. Duration, concentration, up to 10 minutes. Until the spell ends, you control any freestanding water inside an area you choose. That is a cube up to 100 feet on a side. You can choose from any of the following effects when you cast the spell. As an action on your turn, you can repeat the same effect or choose a different one. These effects are Flood, Part Water, Redirect Flow, and Whirlpool. Flood, you cause the water level of all standing water in an area to rise by as much as 20 feet. If the area includes a shore, the flooding water spills over onto dry land. If you choose an area in a large body of water, you instead create a 20-foot tall wave that travels from one side of the area to the other and then crashes down. Any huge or small vehicles in the wave's path are carried with it to the other side. Any huge or small vehicles struck by the wave have a 25% chance of capsizing. 25%? That is... Nothing to scoff at. The water level remains elevated until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. If this effect produced a wave, the wave repeats on the start of your next turn while the flood effect lasts. Ooh. That's an interesting one. That's your boat killer. Hey, you know that Moses guy? Part Water. You cause water in the area to move apart and create a trench. The trench extends across the spell's area, and the separated water forms a wall to either side. The trench remains until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. The water then slowly fills in the trench over the course of the next round until the normal water level is restored. You got your direction, you gotta move. It's Redirect Flow. I don't know what this song is. You cause flowing water in an area to move in a direction you choose, even if the water has to flow over obstacles, up walls, or in other unlikely directions. The water in the area moves as you direct it, but once it moves beyond the spell's area, it resumes its flow based on the terrain conditions. The water continues to move in the direction you choose until the spell ends, or you choose a different effect. Waterbending. This is waterbending. Can you guess what this one is yet? Can you guess what this one is? Oh fuck my cord. Whirlpool. This effect requires a body of water at least 50 square feet and 25 feet deep. You cause a whirlpool to form in the center of the area. The whirlpool forms a vortex that is 5 feet wide at the base, up to 50 feet wide at the top. Ha! Couldn't whistle there. And 25 feet tall. Any creature or object in the water and within 25 feet of the vortex is pulled 10 feet towards it. A creature can swim away from the vortex, making a strength athletics check against your spell save DC. When a creature enters the vortex for the first time on a turn or starts its turn there, it must make a strength saving throw. On a failed save, the creature takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage and is caught in the vortex until the spell ends. On a successful save, the creature takes half damage and isn't caught in the vortex. Still takes half damage. Creature caught in the vortex can use its action to try to swim away from the vortex as described above, but has disadvantage on strength athletics checks to do so. First time each turn that an object enters the vortex, the object takes 2d8 bludgeoning damage. This damage occurs each round it remains in the vortex. Vortex. I mean, this is just waterbending. So, if I'm reading it correctly, we've got a bit of a predicament of just drowning a village. I mean, I guess it is called flood, but I didn't expect to take it so sincerely. Namely because it raises whatever the water level is by 20 feet. And I thought, okay, maybe that's within a space and you have like a weird geyser of water and it's occasionally spilling out. But it specifically mentions within the text, and especially rereading over it, that if there is a shoreline or some kind of lip to it and it goes over, it fills that space until it is at a stable 20 feet tall over the course of 10 minutes. Get a fountain in a royal courtroom, or in a foyer, or in a courtyard, or a small lake that surrounds a village that a village is right next to. The devastation from this, with just a 4th level spell for flood, I did not expect to see. The water has to be standing water, so can't have waves, so that pond or lake idea, or ocean idea is probably out the door. But that triggers the secondary effect, which is the wave. It's the fact it's at the same space, every round, it's going to be sending that wave. And I have something small enough, it's pushed off to the side, which is fine. But the other one, of anything too large, having a 25% chance of capsizing each round while it's passing through that space? Whoa! For a 4th level spell to take out a naval ship? Bloody crazy. Crazy, I tell you. Crazy, I declare. Hi! If you'd like to subscribe, that'd be nice. We're cool here. I don't know why I'm saying declare. That was a 20-foot tall wave. Yikes. So the 100 foot on a side. It's quite large, but when we talk about part water and that reference to that Moses moment, Red Sea's a little larger than 100 feet. Maybe this could work on, I think this would definitely work on some smaller rivers, streams, ponds, dungeon moats. Moats is a great one for this. Part water, 10 minutes, able to just walk through or even dig under a, well, I don't think you'd be able to dig under a wall in 10 minutes. This will definitely be used for passing rapids or water that's a little too dangerous. More utility compared to the flood previously. More offensive. Redirect flow is an interesting one, which I didn't take too much credit for until I remember going back through and seeing that the area's 100 foot on a side. You can make a Willy Wonka crazy free-floating water park with 100 foot on a side and being able to just redirect the flow of something without paying attention to going over obstacles or anything else. This could go up walls, this could just go over its banks. Because it's redirecting it, the water's still traveling through there for the duration of the spell, and then, like, geography then plays effect again, the terrain. So, yeah, you have flood, and a river's not still standing, so flood can't just raise it. However, redirect, like, let's say something like the Yellow River or something, over one of its banks, just, well, we're just gonna take 100 feet of that and direct it to go over this lip towards that village down the way. River with rapids, have water go past a dam for safety. Again, this is also a natural disaster spell. Not to mention the runoff from that amount of water passing over an area that it doesn't usually do. You could, if you properly direct it, weaponize flooding, I guess, is what I'm bringing up, without just the flood condition. Like, I'm thinking world building wise, we'll give it to that. Whirlpool. Yeah, no, that's just scary. That's just scary. That's just a huge area of effect within a free-floating water, and likely, if you're a D&D game or you have enemies that are in water, if they're not waterborne, that's not gonna be pleasant, being dragged down. There's also the question of what happens once they're in the center of the vortex. I mean, they're continually taking damage each round, but would you rule in a certain way that when the spell ends, they don't float to the top, but the water caves in on them? Are they then under? Though props to anyone recreating the Pirates 3 ending. Outside that, being a living natural disaster and the power of water within your hands. Scary. Scary. And why waterbending is also scary. Scarier than fire, if you ask me. Let's say you have some kind of spellcasting group or some kind of druids that have this. If druids can pick this up, I know there's a circle that can pick it up at least. Like a circle of land that can pick it up. Up in the mountains somewhere, or this pool of water where rivers or waterfalls flow. Every time a village tries to build underneath or in their territory or within their forest, whoops, there's a bit of a flood heading your way, or some kind of rapid flash flood that knocks you out, or just stops the construction, or probably kills people. Not to mention anything with ships. Some kind of druid on a small rocky outcropping or lone island, or other spellcaster just, well, there goes your vessel, now capsized into the rocks in this graveyard of ships that I built my base out of. You can have a lot of cool effects with control over water. Then again, though, the question of how often water comes up in your campaign is very particular. Giving this a rating, though, I'd say 9 out of 10. 8, because you still need the water itself. And then it's useless if you don't have any body of water nearby. But it's the fact that it has so much utility. It's an large area effect, a large range. The material components are quite simple. It lasts for a decent while for what you can do within that time with the effects. It has a lot of utility in even different situations for some of those other effect options. 8 out of 10.